So today we're going to be on part 2 of our mower rebuild, and all of the parts came in. I bought that kit for the mower deck that is all the spindles, all the pulleys with bearings, all the V-belt pulleys, new blades, and a drive belt. And then I bought the maintenance kit for the engine, which is actual John Deere kit, oil filter, plugs, fuel filter, air filter with pre-filter, and of course the oil itself. So I want to get all this done because it's time to mow again. And what's really nice about this kit is when you buy this kit from this company, it's aftermarket, it comes with all new hardware for everything, so we don't have to use anything else. So that being said, we're going to try and get this thing together as quick as we can so we can get back to mowing and see how much better it mows now. And it's been about a week and all the tires are still up. My wife's very happy about that. She probably hopefully won't have to air up tires for a long time. Let's hope. Okay, it's very interesting that they put grease fittings on these spindles, but the top and bottom are not greasable. I can't get that off. Anyways, it's a sealed bearing here and a sealed bearing at the bottom. So this is just making you feel, trying to make you feel better about what you're getting, because you can't grease them bearings. So now those are all in, and I positioned them. Even though I'm not going to be greasing anything, I'll probably still put grease in them just in case. But now I'm going to start with my tensioner, wherever it got to. The tensioner had a problem too. Where did I put that? We had to whatever. Yeah, here we go.
Condensed up.
Yeah, that's the word. So this is the tensioner, and the tensioner was worn out, as you can see in here. It was all egged out. So I just found a washer that fit the diameter of the piece that's supposed to go in there, and I just welded it to here. I wasn't replacing this piece again. So then all I have to do is space this down so that what used to be the post here used to touch, so this has to be able to move free. So I just have to space this down with washers to get it down where the washer lets it move freely again, is what I'm trying to say somehow. And that's one thing about the old bulk washers at Tractor Supply. They come in a lot of different thicknesses because they're just stamped out. So I can go up there and pick a couple that are thinner than these two and get closer. So we don't want it moving around a lot. We want it to be able to hit that when need be, but loose enough to keep tension on it. Well, these are locking nuts. That one tightened up better. It's getting worse. Yeah, we're not tight yet. Isn't that nice? That just doesn't want to tighten up enough. Weird. That's everything on the top side. One of them is no good. It's not built right or something. It won't let the shaft tighten up. So we're out of luck on that one. And of course, they'll want me to return everything. I don't want to do that. So I'll probably just order another kit and then just return the one. Now I gotta get the blades on. The belt's all routed. All the pulleys are on except for that one. Luckily we had one that was worth the crap still that we could use. But whatever. This is the risk you take when you buy the import cheap crap. So they use a different type of washer. You gotta use theirs and it makes it become concaved, because their blade isn't flat where it sits. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm not sure how much time we have with this mower, I would have just spent twice as much and got John Deere. But the John Deere parts were that. They are twice as much. So I'll go ahead and slide it under there, get it hooked up.
Well, we put the spindle that we had previously on it, back on it. Right
One that
there.
was good.
Yeah, the best one until we can get it straightened around, because the new one was defective.
Yeah, it's got a gap in it. It won't tighten up. And I messaged the guy on Amazon to tell him, the seller, that, you know, you can't tighten this up. And he's like, you have to tighten it and it takes the slop out. I'm not stupid. I understand he's used to dealing with people who maybe don't do this, but come on, man, I've had it tight. That's a groove that it's cut into that. That's how tight it was. And then I have the same play. So either this bushing, the spacer, isn't letting it travel. There's something wrong here. But, and this nut had the threads peened over here and here, so it's a one-time use. So as soon as you take that off, it destroys the threads coming back off, or on, or both. So he's telling me it's installation error. I'm like, I don't think so, Scooter. You know, I put it on there, I had it threaded well, it just would not go on tight. It would not tighten up. Something's not machined right. There's a spacer in between them two bearings. And then there's a shelf where the spindle comes up and it goes in, that spacer sits on. I don't know if the spacer is wrong, something's not right, but whatever. It's back together. I don't know if that battery is going to make it or not. We'll have to see what happens, but let's get it outside and see how it mows. If it mows, I don't know. Well, it's mowing better, but it's still not right. But that's what happens, because one of them, that outside spindle is bad, and it's cutting crooked. I don't know if you can see it there, it's kind of skipping. Whatever, it's better than it was. Have to get another spindle now. Yeah, look how, you can see how that one outside on that spindle we didn't replace, how it's cutting. Oh well. All right, so this turned into a soup sandwich, as you can imagine. I told the guy that we got these from, that, you know, there's something wrong, they won't tighten up. He said, go ahead and tighten them and tighten them and tighten them. He said, they just have more to go. And I told him, I said, the nut won't go any tighter. If you look, I mean, we're literally ripping the threads out of this. Now, I told him it's like the nut's not made right, because it just won't take up the slack either. And I told him I had it tight. There's the bottom side. There's the top. That's as tight as I can get it. And it just does not work. And you can see these are nuts are peened on here. Well, when you take them off, it just destroys the threads. And I tried to clean them up with a thread file, but they're just too far gone. I even put on the grinder and tried to taper that off, and I'm like, this just ain't right. So he's like, well, I'll pull another one. So he pulled another set off the shelf and compared what it was to what I had. And he's like, you might have the wrong nuts. And I'm like, well, you got to be kidding me. No kidding. So I'm going to show you the difference and why it wouldn't tighten up. You see that shoulder, how deep it is on this one and how shallow it is in this one? Yeah, look at how different that's going to be. That's going to allow us to tighten up. The problem is after you remove these peen nuts, you can see what it does to the threads. So he sent me 3 new spindles and 3 new pulleys, because if you can tell, the pulleys there, from trying to tighten, they've oiled out and rounded the steel. And then he said, tighten them up, it'll be fine, and put it together. So I did, and I ran the belt, and it made it about 4 laps. The ones that were tight are no longer tight, and look what it did to the belt. So the good thing is he stood up to the plate, sent me everything new, and now we can just change it all out, and hopefully it fits and it works.
So this nut didn't want to come off, and this is like sitting crooked
In the hole.
And then this one is just ridiculously loose.
Well, it's stripped out.
Yeah.
Okay. That ought to be a pickle to get off of there, because now I have to hold the blade to get this loose, and you saw how hard that was. Well, it did just fine. It mows okay. Still not perfect. So, you know, the deck's old and it's kind of bent here and there, but for all in all, it's pretty good. And, you know, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to leave you a link to the kit that I used for this thing, because that was a stand-up guy. I mean, I had a problem on Amazon, and once he realized and was convinced it was a real problem, not just somebody trying to scam him, the guy had no problem sending me out the parts that I needed. So fantastic. You know, it went fast. I got my parts, I got it back together, everything seems to be okay. Now, how long it'll last? If it lasts a couple years, that's good enough for us, because I don't know if the mower will make it that long. But so far so good. We've been mowing with it now for a few days, and haven't had any problems yet. And the belt's holding up well, all the spindles are tight. So anyways, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch you on the next one.